And you know much of this, but I want to underscore it because there are a lot of people out there who have not gotten to the place that you've gotten to now. People who don't understand that this is good for us economically. It's good for our national security. It's good for the environment, and it's good for the responsibility that we owe to those who come after us. In truth, we have a climate crisis. At the same time, we have an economic crisis. At the same time, we have a national security crisis. You know what I'm talking about. The financial crisis is over, and they say technically the recession is over, but unemployment is too high, and we need to create millions of good new jobs. Well, I know where we can get at least 2.5 million good new jobs by building green buildings and retrofitting buildings up to the LEED standards here in the United States. And by building the windmills and the solar panels and the super grids. These new infrastructure investments are the best way to put people to work quickly, put money in their pockets, get the economy moving again. So the economic crisis is linked to the solutions to the climate crisis. What about national security crisis? Well, as mentioned before, here we are on Veterans Day. How many people here are veterans of the Vietnam War? Could I see some hands? Thank you. Welcome home. How about the Korean War? Thank you. Thank you. You guys get forgotten about sometimes unjustly. What about the Persian Gulf War? What about Iraq and Afghanistan? Let me see some hands. God bless you. Thank you for defending our country. Any World War II veterans in this group? Any World War II? I see a few. Thank you very much for being part of that greatest generation. Well, you know, that great generation after World War II actually not only won the war in Europe and the Pacific at the same time, but then they came home and they put their minds and their hearts to work in helping to figure out how to keep world wars from coming out of Europe anymore. And they established the Marshall Plan, and they were far-sighted. General Omar Bradley at the end of that war said, "It's time we steered by the stars and not by the lights of each passing ship." And we had a bipartisan agreement that lasted for decades where we rebuilt Europe and developed the basis for prosperity and unification and peace. And there hadn't been any world wars coming out of Europe anymore. Well, now is such a time for us to look ahead at how we can best protect our national security by preventing future wars. And we've got to take stock of the fact that we've had too many wars that just happen to take place in the region of the world that have those big giant reserves of oil that dominate the world oil market. And we've been over there for plenty of reasons, but that's one of them. And we need to become less dependent on foreign oil and less dependent on carbon-based fuel. It's time for us to shift to a new kind of energy infrastructure where we can depend on renewable energy